Hello, I'm on episode number 56 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be SmackDown and the Mae Young Classic for Friday, week 3 of September 2020, as SmackDown continues the build to the No Mercy pay-per-view. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the show. King Corbin opens the show. Thrilling, I know, but he does. He says that he came back to end Daniel Bryan's little charade as the champion, especially after he accused him of being the man to run him over. See, the WWE Universe, they love Daniel Bryan more than anybody else in the whole company. He's your favourite, yes movement and all that. Fight for your dreams, etc. And, well, the WWE Universe, you hate me, King Corbin, more than anybody else. Every single thing I do pisses you off, and knowing that fact, that when I'm me pinning Daniel Bryan and winning the Universal Championship at No Mercy, knowing that will crush not only Daniel Bryan's dreams but your little dreams as your least favourite wrestler pins your favourite wrestler to become the Universal Champion. That makes it all the more sweet for me. Then out comes Chad Gable, and Gable's like, well, last week we were supposed to be winning, we would have advanced in that tag team tournament qualifier match, but you came out and screwed us just because we're friends with Daniel Bryan. You had no fucking business doing that, mate, and quite frankly, you're a coward, and that kind of match, you're never going to beat Daniel Bryan. And to prove that, I want a match with you right now to prove that you're not a real, it says reek, but real man. So we get to our first piece of action. It's Corbin and Gable. They get a 72. Not even a storyline attached, so that's just a random banger. Corbin defeats Gable with a deep six, apparently. Poor guy, he never wins with a deep six, but apparently he did. I wouldn't actually mind like him winning a couple of matches with it to try and establish it as a second finisher, so he's got other options. But definitely the first time he'd pinned Gable with it after not pinning anyone with it, people will moan on Twitter. So they both get 67s, which is pretty cool. Match gets a 72. After the match with another 77, Gulak comes out as Corbin continues the assault on Gable, and Gulak comes out to try and stop Corbin from attacking Gable anymore, and then him and Corbin get into a brawl. Corbin starts to get the upper hand, but that's when Daniel Bryan runs out, and he takes it to Corbin. He hits him in the shin with the kicks. He does the yes kicks. He does the kicks to the chest of Corbin, and then he peels back to do the final yes kick to the head, and the crowd's going, oh, but then Corbin crawls away before Bryan gets the chance to kick him in the head. Bryan then picks up the belt off the ring on the floor, and he picks it up. He's yes, leading the crowd into yes chants as Drew Gulak checks on Chad Gable, who was his friend. So he couldn't quite get his hands on the king here tonight. 80 rated promo for MVP. He says that coming up next, Apollo Crews and Shelton Benjamin of VIP Nation are about to advance to the finals of the SmackDown Tag Team Title Tournament and bring more gold back to the Hurt Business. I did it. I fucking did it. VIP Nation. But first, he has to address Sami Zayn. He's like, Sami Zayn is your prototypical underdog. And basically, what you've seen Daniel Bryan, you saw him beat Braun Strowman at SummerSlam. And you suddenly got this idea that you could beat somebody like Bobby Lashley. Well, here's the newsflash, Sami. Braun Strowman is no Bobby Lashley, and you are no Daniel Bryan. And the Almighty is going to bring that pain to you at No Mercy. So, yeah, Sami Zayn won last week against Nakamura in the main event to move on to face Lashley for the US title at No Mercy. So that's the match there. And basically MVP saying that this ain't going to be Bryan and Braun all over again. This is going to be you tasting the Almighty's wrath. They lose in the tag team tournament. The Usos defeat Apollo and Shelton. Jimmy Uso pins Apollo with a double super kick. Jey Uso gets a 64, 68 for Jimmy, 59 for Shelton, and a 62 for Apollo Crews. Not bad at all. And the Usos will be one tag team going to No Mercy to wrestle for the vacant tag team titles. AJ then cuts a promo. He's got a hot catchphrase apparently because he's back on SmackDown. I guess it would just be the house that AJ Styles built again. And he says that Garza should be thanking AJ for taking him out of that 4-way last month. he saved Garza the embarrassment of being squashed by Drew McIntyre in the main event of SummerSlam. However, after he fluked that win against him 2 weeks ago, and Garza's bragging around like he's better than AJ Styles, like he's the phenomenal one, AJ has to teach him a lesson. So he won't be so kind again at No Mercy, because Garza's going to get embarrassed on that night when he gets into the ring with the phenomenal AJ Styles. And he'll prove that this is the house that AJ Styles built. And that will really be the reality check that Garza needs to stop knocking on the door of the phenomenal one. So Garza and AJ set for another showdown at No Mercy. 62, that's pretty good for a women's title segment. Or women's tag team segment, even not title. The Iconics are in the ring. They say that last week they had the women's tag team titles won until Sugar Rush came out and distracted them because they were jealous that the Iconics were getting that opportunity and not them. And Sugar Rush come out and they're like, no, well, see, here's the thing, we were just coming out to sort of investigate the landscape of the division that we find ourselves in. And since you two lost last week, you can move to the back of the line now. And we are the only team that's coming out here staking a claim for the titles, so surely we should move to the front. And they get into an argument because the Iconics are like, well, what the fuck have you won, mate? And that's when Dakota and Raquel come out onto the stage. And they just stand on the stage. And she's like, well, to be honest, we're fighting champions. And even though I've got business on Raw, and there's teams on Raw that I need to deal with, Jay Flo and the Robert Stone Band to be precise, we're fighting champions. I don't mind defending at both Unforgiven and No Mercy. So you two can face each other right now, you two teams. And whoever wins that match, you can face us at No Mercy for the titles, okay? And then creeping up behind them, obviously behind Raquel would be Nia, and behind Dakota would be Alexa. So they turn to leave, and Nia and Alexa just stood there, staring at the champions, just smiling, like, hey. And the champions slowly walk to the back, trying not to start anything with Nia and Alexa Bliss. Match gets a 52. 8 minutes. Game just fucking ignored everything I put in, apparently. It's not a double count now, it's a double DQ. Nia and Alexa run in. They stand on the stage all match, just smiling, not really moving much, until right at the end they charge in and just beat both teams down. Which is followed up here. Nia drops all four women with a Samoan drop. And then she gets Alexa on her shoulders. Alexa hits Twisted Bliss onto somebody, probably one of the Iconics. And then she grabs a mic and she's like, the women's tag team division is officially on notice. Then she slams the mic down before leaving. So Alexa looking to become a 3-time women's champion. And she's going to do it this time with her new best friend, Nia Jax, after she took out her old best friend, Nikki Cross. 81. Braun Strowman promo with the Hoss House. He's in their locker room and he tells them that he's going to accept Keith Lee's challenge for a match at No Mercy. But he has to do this alone. Keith thinks he's the strongest man here on SmackDown. And he needs to be put in his place. He needs to know where he falls on the totem pole. And he has to get these hands, and Braun has to do that himself. This is sort of a soft, I guess, breakup of the Hoss House. I feel like now Braun's not the champion anymore. They've sort of filled their purpose. I'll find something else for Tucker. Well, I will find something else for Tucker. I know what Tucker's going to be doing. Don't worry about him. And Dabba-Kato and Obakanu may float around as a tag team. May go back to NXT. I'm still undecided, but I feel like there's a lot of factions, and there may be more coming because I'm a faction mark. And I felt like the Hoss House have served their purpose. The challenge was to make a big man faction with heel Tucker and Babatunde in it. They are very much that. But I feel like their story came to an end when Otis and Ali and Gulak beat them at SummerSlam, and when Bryan beat Braun. So instead of just having them floating around doing nothing, I can send them back to NXT and find something else for Tucker to do. So Braun will be going solo from here on out. And that will start with his match with Keith Lee at No Mercy. Speaking of Big Keith, He gets a 47. He just gets a quick squash win over Riddick Moss. Big Keith gets a 65 and a 32 for one half of the peak of physique in Riddick Moss. I have left 2 women on screen here who aren't in the segment. Oh well, Sasha and Bayley have an interview with Kayla, and she asks, what are your thoughts on having to face each other in this Fatal 4-Way match at No Mercy? And then Sasha cuts her off. He's like, no, we know what you're doing, Kayla, and quite frankly, it's not going to work. You're trying to, plant seeds in either my head or Bayley's head that we're not going to be able to coexist in the ring together because we're fighting each other and we're best friends, but that's just not true. Because if I retain my title in that Fatal 4-Way, if Bayley wins the title in that Fatal 4-Way, we both win. But it's up to Bayley to help me to keep my title, because we've got Paige and we've got Shayna Baszler, who are both after their chances to get their titles back. So Bayley knows that it's in her best interest to keep the title on me, because she's already been beaten by Paige. So I haven't. So surely to keep the title within our little friendship group, Bayley will be the one who has to help me win. Bayley sort of looks at Sasha, that she's like, yeah, you're right. She's bang on, Kayla. I don't know what you're doing here. You knew exactly what Sasha was going to say, and I agree with her 100% because she's my best friend. And we're going to go in there, we're going to keep... Sasha's going to keep her SmackDown Women's title, and then we're going to celebrate because we're both winners. And Sasha leaves, and Bayley watches her leave. She's like, yeah, I'll see you out there for the tag main event, girl. And then Kayla's like, Bayley, you seem something seems a bit off. Are you sure? Are you really feeling that way now Sasha's gone? Are you really feeling like you're going to help her retain her title? And Bayley sort of looks at her all concerned. She's like, what exactly are you trying to get at, Kayla? And then she just laughs and walks off. Another 72. This is a banger. Ziggler and Roode cheat to defeat the Street Profits in 9 minutes 19 seconds. Ziggler pins Montez Ford. Bobby Roode gets a 64, 70 for Ziggler, 59 for Ford, 60 for Dawkins, cementing that the match for the vacant SmackDown Tag Team titles at No Mercy will be the Usos against Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. This was a good match just to shove in here. 77, Roman Reigns and Nakamura have a match. Roman beats him in 11 minutes 29 with a spear. 87 for the big dog, the tribal chief, the Uwa man himself, Mr. Roman Reigns. And a 70 for Shinsuke. And during the match, Bray Wyatt comes out and he sort of just walks around the ring with his happy funhouse music playing, trying to distract Roman, waving to the fans, being jolly old Mr. Rogers Bray, before the match ends and he gets in the ring. He's applauding Roman. He's like, yowie wowie, that was a great match, Roman. Don't mind me. I just want to get an up-close and personal look at the man that I'm going to defeat at No Mercy. And then he starts laughing, and then the Fiend let me in, flashes up, and the segment ends. Before our main event, 74, I'm really fucking happy with that. That's a good match for this. Shayna and Paige team up, reluctantly, and they defeat the Golden Role Model, Sasha and Bayley, and Shayna Baszler actually chokes out the SmackDown Women's Champion. So there's that. Bayley gets a 63, 68 for Sasha, 65 for Paige, and a 68 for Shayna Baszler. Very evenly matched Fatal 4-Way based on those ratings. So that sure is to be a banger in the main event of No Mercy. Sure gets a 79. Apparently we lose Pop because of a 79. That's good to know. But what matters more than that is... Oh, no. The video's not over yet because... eventually I'll get used to it. Because basically, 79 for SmackDown, and I'll see you in a moment for episode 3, or night 3, or whatever, of the Mae Young Classic 2020. So here we go, and we open the show with what is going to be the Nevaeh match against Ayako Hamada, but again the tea needs to be spilt because you can see that's not just me getting two Asian women confused. There's a reason why it's not Hamada. So I said last week that some of the elder women that I'd hired, like Lufisto and Kaylee, Hamada, had all retired in the game. And I said I'd fix that off screen, and I have. So, like, you'll see them two, Lufisto and Kaylee, are actually on the show tonight. They'll be the later on matches. But then I went to do it for Hamada as well. I was like, hey, weird, I can't even see her on my NXT roster. I have had her there. She has been signed for like a couple of months. But then I went to check her. I was like, why wasn't she in my roster at all? Because she signed a written exclusive deal with CMLL and has fucked off right when I booked her in this tournament. So Nevaeh has to come out and explain that due to travel issues, Hamada can't be here tonight, so she's picked the next best. Hamada has picked a replacement for her, someone she sees as like the future of Japanese women's wrestling in Maya Yuki. So they have the match, and Nevaeh, of course, has to go through because she is the actual Mae Young Classic competitor in this match. She gets a 35, and Maya Yuki gets a 27. Indy Hartwell and Nadi is the next match. Of course, Indy actually signed with NXT in real life. This is just her really... So I think in the first Mae Young Classic, they sort of had some like NXT women that hadn't quite had a chance to sort of break out yet. So this is Indy Hartwell's chance to do that in this tournament. Match gets a 16. Nadi and Indy Hartwell don't seem to click, but Indy beats her in 7 minutes by submission. 16 for Nadi and a 25 for Indy. I think I have booked the highest scoring woman to go through in every single match so far, so that's fun. Kaylee Burchill talks about how she was in WWE about a decade ago. She never really got that footing because at that time she wasn't a diva, she wasn't what we were looking for. This is her second lease on life. Now she's seen all the talented women here in WWE. She's come back to win the Mae Young Classic and prove that she still got it. And she may well do because she defeats Tasha Steelz in 7:38. 36 for Katie Lee and a 27 for Tasha. Main event. Independent women's wrestling legend Lufisto has her background along with Jamie Hayter, of course, for her first ever match in WWE. She gets a 22. She wins it in 9:59. She gets a 32. 26 for Jamie. And that is the end of night 3 of the Mae Young Classic 2020. Again, scores are 25, but the shows really don't matter here because it's a B show. All that matters with the Mae Young Classic is what you thought of the show, and of course SmackDown as well. So do let me know what you thought about the shows, and I'll see you next time for the go-home show for Unforgiven for Monday Night Raw. See you then.